Hello everybody! If you want all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 934, The Message in the Soil. Intermediate. Greta had worked as a gardener in Bellevue Park for 12 years. She knew every path, every bench and every tree by name. The park was her kingdom, and she took great pride in keeping it beautiful for the people of the town. One Tuesday morning in early autumn, Greta was planting bulbs near the old stone bridge. Her spade hit something hard beneath the surface. She dug carefully around the object and pulled out a small glass bottle sealed with a cork. Inside she could see a rolled up piece of paper. Her hands were dirty, so she wiped them on her trousers before pulling out the cork. The paper was dry and yellowed. She unrolled it gently and read the words written in careful blue ink. "To whoever finds this, I was happy here. I hope you are too." There was no name, no date, nothing else. Just those 13 words. Greta sat back on her heels and looked around the park. The trees were turning gold and amber. Children were throwing bread to the ducks on the pond. An elderly couple walked slowly along the path, arm in arm. She thought about the person who had buried that bottle. Perhaps it was another gardener many years ago. Perhaps it was someone who had simply wanted to leave a small mark on the world, a whispered message to a stranger they would never meet. For the rest of the day, Greta carried the note in her pocket. She showed it to her colleague, David, who shrugged and said it was probably just a child's game. But Greta did not think so. The handwriting was steady and grown up, and the words felt deliberate and sincere. That evening, Greta went home and sat at her kitchen table. She found a clean sheet of paper and picked up a pen. She thought for a long moment. Then she wrote, "To whoever finds this, I was happy here too." She rolled the note up tightly and placed it inside a small jar she had found in the cupboard. The next morning, she brought the jar to the park and buried it near the rose garden, deep enough that it would not be found easily, but not so deep that it would never be found at all. She smiled as she patted the soil flat. Someday, perhaps years from now, someone would dig in that spot and find her message. They would read it and wonder about the woman who had written it. And maybe, just maybe, they would feel what she had felt that morning in the autumn park. A sense that happiness is real and that it is worth sharing, even with strangers you will never know. Greta picked up her tools and walked back to the stone bridge, where the rest of the bulbs were still waiting to be planted. The sun was warm on her shoulders, and somewhere above her, a bird was singing. If you learned a new word today, please make sure to subscribe so you can practice again next time. Vocabulary notes. Deliberate, meaning done consciously and intentionally with careful thought rather than by accident. From the story, the handwriting was steady and grown up and the words felt deliberate and sincere. Examples. He made a deliberate effort to arrive on time. The damage to the window looked deliberate, not accidental. She spoke with deliberate slowness so everyone could understand. Similar words: intentional, purposeful, calculated, planned, conscious. Sincere, meaning honest and genuine, showing true feelings without pretending. From the story, the handwriting was steady and grown up and the words felt deliberate and sincere. Examples: thank you for your sincere apology. She gave him a sincere smile that made him feel better. His sincere wish was to see his family again. Similar words: heartfelt, genuine, honest, true, earnest. Kingdom, meaning a country ruled by a king or queen, or metaphorically, a place where someone has complete control or influence. From the story, The park was her kingdom, and she took great pride in keeping it beautiful for the people of the town. Examples: the king visited every part of his kingdom. The library is my kingdom. I spend hours here every week. Cats rule the household kingdom in their own way. Similar words: realm, domain, territory, empire, domain. Colleague, meaning a person you work with, especially in a professional setting. From the story, she showed it to her colleague, David, who shrugged and said it was probably just a child's game. Examples: my colleague Sarah will cover for me while I am on holiday. We need to ask a colleague for advice on this project. He has worked with many colleagues over his 20-year career. Similar words: co-worker, workmate, peer, associate, fellow employee. Steady, meaning firm and stable, not shaking or moving unsteadily, also can mean regular and consistent. From the story, the handwriting was steady and grown up, and the words felt deliberate and sincere. Examples: keep a steady hand when painting fine details. The old man's voice remains steady despite his illness. Prices have remained steady throughout the year. Similar words: stable, firm, secure, consistent, unwavering. Story generated by Lumo. Image generated by onemin.ai. Animation generated by Clipbee. To read, listen, see all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, Drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads.